Good evening, viewers. This evening, there is a special reason why we are bringing this program to you. I am going to interview a gentleman who heads the world operation of a company that is spread to about 170 countries in the world and is perhaps one of the most vibrant companies of the consumer goods category in the world today. Permit me to present to you the CEO of Unilever worldwide, Mr. Polman.
Thank you, Ali.
Welcome to Bangladesh.
Thank you.
Good evening to you. Paul began his career in Procter & Gamble and then moved on to become the Chief Financial Officer of Nestlé SA. Recognized by the investors, Paul has been singled out as Chief Financial Officer of the Year 2007. Huge achievement. Paul received the Carl Lindner Award from the University of Cincinnati in 2006 and was the WSG CNBC European Business Leader of the Year 2003. Unilever is a huge company. It is huge everywhere. It is huge all over the world, and also in the context of Bangladesh, it's one of our leading corporations. You have chosen to come to Bangladesh. I'm very curious, what was the reason?
Yeah. Well, first, Ali, thanks for the opportunity to be here with you tonight, and certainly an honor to be on the program with you. It's indeed a sizable company. In fact, 2 billion times a day a consumer somewhere in the world will use our products, and that is obviously not different here in Bangladesh. The reason for my Bangladesh visit is actually fairly simple. First of all, we have a wonderful organization here that has done a tremendous job building this company here in Bangladesh. As you rightfully say, it's one of the most respected and desired companies in Bangladesh, and certainly an enormous part of the local fabric here. And that can only be the case because of the dedication of all its employees. And I thought it was more than appropriate to say thank you, and that's why I'm here in the first place. And then secondly, not surprisingly, it's the potential. This country is 170 million people, growing. It's actually one of the top 5-6 countries in the world very soon, with an economy that continues to improve, and we're obviously very grateful for that. So the potential that you find in the emerging markets brings me to Bangladesh as well.
You've had diverse experience from the financial world to various other activities that you are. Could you share some of your insights of your experience that would help the budding professionals of our country?
Well, that's a broad question, but obviously what we look for very importantly as a consumer goods company, we look for people that genuinely have passion for the consumer. Most of our products that you mentioned and some other ones that might not be yet in Bangladesh are there to improve the lives of the world's consumer. Any visit that I do to any country, and the same was here yesterday, we visit consumers' homes, from the very low part of the pyramid to the more fortunate ones. And we see how our products make a difference or can make a difference. So I always say you need to be passionate about what you do, otherwise you're not going to be successful. And then obviously you need to be aligned with the values. We are a tremendous company globally, and the glue that keeps us together is the values of our company. And people that are going to be successful are the ones that actually can align with these values, as you can understand. Doing the right thing for the long term, being sure that communities, like in this case Bangladesh, benefit from our presence, investing in our people. And then there is obviously a positive attitude, I would say. If you work hard with a positive mindset and you do what you like to do with the values that you support, I think you have the recipe.
I would like to sort of ask you another kind of a question which does not relate necessarily to Unilever. The world has seen over the past 2 years, 2008 and 9, a very bad recession in which most of the major economies were affected. And obviously, if the economies are affected, business is affected. How do you see that? And coming around from there, now getting into back in order, with your experience, I'd like you to mention what should be the note of caution that should be practiced by the corporate sectors and business community, who were essentially, some of whom were responsible for the recession itself. I would like your opinion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Ali, on this. And I think any system where the upsides of risk-taking and the benefits of risk-taking only go to a few individuals, and the downside of risk-taking is shared with total society, is unsustainable. And we've seen some of that. And part of that has been driven by short-termism, and especially in the financial world. I'm always happy and proud to work for companies like Unilever that take a long-term view. One of the first things we did with the crisis was to establish that it is even more of a need for companies like ours, which I call the real economy, to participate and to be sure that we would even work harder to lift up people's lives, and by doing that, the world economy. So we said we are not to blame for the crisis, so what can we do? We took some short-term measures, as you would expect any company to do. In fact, most companies did. You cut costs, you look at things that you can postpone, you manage your cash flow, you basically hunker down. But we did more than that. I think we made a conscious decision to invest in research and development, to accelerate our innovations and rollout of innovations, and obviously also our people, which you have to stay close to. And the result is that we see our business do fairly well throughout this recession. Now, there are two things that are happening. I think we have seen clearly in the developed world that we are in for a prolonged period of slow growth that requires a different approach to business than we did before. And the second thing we've seen is a clear decoupling of economies. Bangladesh included, and a lot of the emerging countries have come out of this recession relatively unscattered. Your GDP has continued to grow at the 5 to 6% rate.
Indeed, it's a strange as it might sound. We were not affected by the world recession.
Yes, yes.
You've said yourself, and we also know that you've been to out in the market and also to meet consumers yesterday when you arrived, and we would like to show our viewers a little clipping from your visit.
The relentless focus on consumers captured well by Unilever's mission to help people feel good, look good and get more out of life. He has been to different consumer homes and interacted with them directly for a better insight into their behaviors, needs and aspirations. Paul visited different markets in Dhaka city and met different retailers, and also visited modern trade.